this is not something that I can see any of the leading tier one semiconductor or defense sector companies or OEMs in general delaying further. There's no can to kick down the road anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? And it's a compliance matter now. They need to be compliant with new standards. And by preparing, again, it depends where you sit in the supply chain. Preparing could be just phoning every supplier that you have and getting their timeline to understand when you can be post-quantum secure yourself. It might be the case that you have very little to do yourself if you're just a consumer and you're just buying all those security kits from different places and the protocol and the software from other suppliers. But depending when you sit in the supply chain, you know, the higher up in the supply chain you sit, the more things that you need to do when it comes to the standards. And I very much expect to be a quick change in the adoption rate for those who sit high up, and more of a slow burn to those who sit, you know, at the consumer level.
Yeah, and some companies will have effectively a two-tier strategy. So if you're a large corporate that happens to make product or devices, you're effectively going to have two strategies. You're going to have a product strategy, which is going to be a smaller number of, 2-3 years worth of strategy. I've got to make my products PQC compliant. But as an enterprise, they'll still have that longer tail that they need to plan through, because your average CISO is not going to upgrade their network switches themselves. They're going to wait for a Cisco, an Extreme, a Juniper, etc., to do new product refresh replacement over a period of time. So there's definitely a two-tier strategy that I can see playing out now. Expect announcements every week for the rest of the year, because it will be that cybersecurity center. I think it was Canada yesterday and NCSC last week, and all this kind of stuff will continue to go. Then you've got ISO, you've got ETSI, you've got all those IETF stuff going through. And so I think the second half of this year is all about everyone aligning to those NIST standards and putting their point of view across in their own local standards. And that's what number of industries are waiting for. So the finance sector is waiting for some explicit guidance and endorsement, if you like, from certain regulatory and standards bodies within their own industry types, which will in itself then lead to a little cascade of activity happening. So it's going to be fascinating to see how that plays out exactly and at what timeline that plays out across different industries. But I totally agree. Your tier one vendors, your semiconductors, etc., they're going to be the ones who are adopting now, because even just the production of their product takes time. And it's going to need to have a little bit of time before it hits the market.